Breaking news from outer space, truth and fiction, same embrace. Lance and Gina lead the way, decoding myths from day to day.
You know how we always talk about wishing there were more like big mysteries in the world?
Yeah.
Well, you sent me this article, and I think this one might take the cake.
It's
About a potential
that really does look like it ticks all the boxes.
megastructure
Yeah.
in the Mariana Trench.
We're talking a massive structure, strange signals, reports of missing research crews.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to bring you in on this one.
Sure.
The article is called The Discovery of a Megastructure in the Mariana Trench, a fascinating and an unnerving mystery.
Right.
And it's a bit of a wild ride, so I figure we dive in together
Sounds good.
and see what we can make of it.
Do it.
So let's just start with the structure itself.
Okay.
The article mentions a multi-hexagonal shape and an alloy unlike anything we've ever seen before.
Yeah, that's definitely piqued the interest of the scientific community for sure.
It's easy to jump to the aliens built it conclusion, right?
Mhm.
But I'm curious, like what kind of natural phenomena could even remotely create something like that?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? We know nature tends toward efficiency, and hexagons are a remarkably strong and stable shape. I mean, you see them in beehives, snowflakes, even the Giant's Causeway.
Yeah.
Could there be a geological process we haven't discovered yet? It's possible.
So we're not ruling anything out at this point, natural formation or artificial.
Right.
But what about those signals the article mentions?
Mhm.
It says they are in the quantum spectrum range, which just sounds incredibly complex. Is that something we can even detect, let alone decipher?
Oh, we can definitely detect them.
Okay.
That's how this whole thing started,
Right.
deciphering them. Another story altogether.
Yeah,
The quantum realm is a whole different ballgame.
right.
Think about it this way. In the quantum world, things can exist in multiple states at once. Particles can be waves and particles simultaneously.
Oh, wow.
It's a bit mind-boggling.
I am trying to wrap my head around that.
Yeah.
If we can barely understand how quantum mechanics work, how could we possibly understand a message based on it?
It's a massive challenge. But scientists are developing new tools and techniques all the time for quantum signal processing. They're looking for patterns in the signals, anything that might hint at a structure or a code.
Right.
Some are even suggesting that instead of a direct message, it could be a form of energy transmission or a byproduct of the structure's operation.
So it's like trying to understand a conversation by only hearing the inflections in someone's voice.
Yeah,
That's a pretty tough code to crack.
it is.
And speaking of things that are tough to explain, let's talk about those missing crews.
Oh, yeah.
The article says they disappeared for exactly 420 hours
Wow.
and then reappeared with no memory of where they'd been.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, it's got to be the weirdest part of this whole story.
That detail has definitely sparked a lot of speculation. Some theories suggest temporal anomalies.
Oh, wow.
Imagine pockets of distorted time around the structure. But how could something like that even be possible? It goes against everything we know about physics.
Is there any scientific basis at all for something like that? I mean, it sounds like something straight out of science fiction.
It does, but there are theoretical frameworks that allow for the possibility of time dilation.
Okay.
Or even wormholes. Einstein's theory of relativity, for example, tells us that time is relative. It's not a constant. Massive objects can warp space-time, creating areas where time flows differently.
Okay, so maybe not science fiction, but definitely theoretical physics.
Yeah.
Just way over my head.
Sure.
Are we talking about a situation where they were literally transported to a different point in time or even another dimension?
Those are certainly possibilities being considered, but we need a lot more data
Right.
before we can even begin to understand what might have happened to those crews.
Well, whatever happened, it's clear that this megastructure is full of surprises,
Yeah.
and I have a feeling we've only just scratched the surface.
Yeah, I think so.
But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I think we need to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. The article touches on some pretty significant geopolitical implications, and I think that's something we need to discuss.
Absolutely. The discovery of something this monumental has the potential to shake up the global landscape. Imagine the international tensions that could arise from competing claims to this structure and its potential technology.
Yeah, we were just talking about how this megastructure could potentially, like, throw the world into chaos.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not every day a discovery comes along that challenges everything we thought we knew about, well, everything.
It's true. This isn't just a scientific puzzle. It's a political and philosophical one, too.
Yeah.
We're potentially talking about technology that's beyond anything we've ever imagined. Whoever controls that technology could have a significant advantage, economically, militarily, you name it.
So it's like the space race, but underwater. Except instead of planting a flag on the moon, we're talking about some kind of deep-sea scramble for alien tech.
It's a valid comparison. The article highlights historical parallels with the discovery of nuclear technology. It led to a global arms race and an era defined by the threat of mutually assured destruction. Imagine that, but with technology we don't even understand yet.
That's a chilling thought.
It is.
The article did mention the need for international cooperation,
Right.
but I can't help but be skeptical. History isn't exactly full of examples of countries putting aside their differences for the greater good, especially when something this valuable is at stake.
It's definitely a challenge, but not an insurmountable one.
Okay.
Think about the Antarctic Treaty, for example. Multiple nations claiming territory, potential resources, yet they managed to agree to use the continent solely for peaceful scientific research. It sets a precedent, at least.
Okay, so maybe there's a glimmer of hope.
Yeah.
But if this structure really does hold the key to some kind of advanced technology, wouldn't that just create a whole new set of ethical dilemmas? I mean, do we even have the right to mess with something like this?
It's a crucial question, and one that I don't think has an easy answer. On one hand, there's the drive for scientific discovery, the potential to solve some of humanity's biggest challenges,
Right?
maybe even achieve interstellar travel.
Yeah,
But on the other hand, we need to consider the potential risks,
of course.
the unintended consequences of tampering with something we don't fully understand.
It feels like we're at a crossroads.
I think so.
Do we approach this with caution and respect, or do we let our greed and fear drive our actions? This isn't just about national interests. It's about the future of humanity.
And the future of the planet, potentially. We still don't know the full extent of the structure's impact on the surrounding environment. What if it's affecting ocean currents, marine life, even the Earth's magnetic field? We need to proceed carefully, with a focus on research and understanding, not just exploitation.
Speaking of research, I'm curious to know more about what scientists are actually doing to study those signals.
Sure.
The article mentioned quantum signal analysis, but can you break that down for me? What are they actually looking for?
Imagine trying to decipher a message written in a language you've never seen before.
Okay.
That's essentially what they're up against. They're analyzing the frequencies, the amplitudes, the patterns of the signals, looking for any kind of structure, repetition, anything that might hint at a code or a language.
So it's like a cosmic code-breaking project.
Yeah, in a way.
That sounds pretty intense, but what if it's not a message? What if it's something else, entirely something we haven't even considered?
That's always a possibility.
Right.
Some theories suggest the signals could be a form of energy transmission, maybe powering the structure itself or some other unknown function.
Right.
Others speculate they could be a byproduct,
Okay.
a kind of exhaust from whatever processes are happening inside.
And then there's the theory that it's all just some elaborate hoax, right? I know you're the expert here, but it's hard to believe something this outlandish could be real.
I understand the skepticism, it's healthy,
Right.
but multiple independent sources have confirmed the existence of the structure and the signals. We're talking about data from sonar readings, satellite imagery, even underwater drones. It's pretty difficult to fake something on this scale.
Okay, so maybe not a hoax,
Right.
but that doesn't make it any less mind-boggling. Let's say, for argument's sake, that the structure is artificial, that it was created by some advanced intelligence. What does that tell us about our place in the universe?
That's a question philosophers have been grappling with for centuries.
Right.
The discovery of extraterrestrial life, especially intelligent life, would have profound implications for our understanding of ourselves, our history, our religion, everything.
Yeah.
It really would.
It's almost too much to comprehend, but I guess that's the beauty of it, isn't it? The unknown has always been a source of both fear and fascination.
It has.
This discovery just takes it to a whole new level.
It does, and it forces us to confront some fundamental questions about what it means to be human,
Right.
about our place in the cosmos, and about the limits of our knowledge. We've only just begun to explore these questions, and I think it's going to be a long and fascinating journey.
Speaking of exploring, I'm curious to know more about how scientists are actually going to study this structure. Sending humans down there seems pretty risky, given the depth and the unknown factors.
Yeah.
The article mentioned robotic exploration. What does that entail?
You're right. Sending humans to the bottom of the Mariana Trench is incredibly dangerous and complex.
Right.
Robotic exploration is the most feasible and safest option at this point. We're talking about highly advanced underwater drones,
Okay.
equipped with cameras, sensors, sonar, even robotic arms for collecting
It
samples.
sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
It does, doesn't it?
A fleet of underwater robots venturing into the abyss to explore an alien structure. What kind of information are they hoping to gather?
The primary goal is to map the structure in detail, its size, shape, composition. They'll also be analyzing the surrounding environment, water temperature, salinity, currents, looking for any anomalies that might provide clues about the structure's function.
And hopefully they'll get some close-up images of that mysterious alloy the article mentioned. Who knows? Maybe it holds the key to some kind of revolutionary technology.
Maybe.
But I have to ask, what about the risks? What if we accidentally trigger something or provoke whatever created this thing?
That's a valid concern.
Yeah?
We're essentially venturing into the unknown, and we need to proceed with caution and respect.
Right.
That's why the initial focus is on observation and data collection,
Okay.
minimizing any potential for interference.
It's a delicate balance, isn't it? The drive to explore and understand versus the responsibility to avoid unintended consequences. It's going to require a level of global cooperation and careful planning that we haven't seen before.
Absolutely. This isn't just a scientific endeavor, it's a global responsibility. We need to approach this with a sense of humility, recognizing that we're dealing with something that's potentially far beyond our current understanding.
You've definitely given us a lot to think about. From quantum signals to time anomalies to the very future of humanity, this megastructure has opened up a Pandora's box of mysteries and challenges.
Yeah, it has.
But I think that's also what makes it so compelling.
It's a reminder that we're still explorers at heart, driven by curiosity and a thirst for knowledge. And who knows what incredible and perhaps even terrifying discoveries await us in the depths of the ocean and beyond.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm ready for another deep dive. We've only scratched the surface of this megastructure mystery, and I'm eager to explore those missing crew reports in more detail. What kind of theories are out there? What are the scientists looking for? And what might this tell us about the nature of time and reality itself?
That's a great place to pick up.
Yeah.
Those missing crew reports are perhaps the most perplexing aspect of this entire mystery.
We've been diving deep into this Mariana Trench megastructure mystery, and honestly, the more we learn, the stranger it gets. We've got potentially alien tech, geopolitical tremors, and now we're tackling those missing crew reports, crews vanishing for exactly 420 hours, only to return unharmed but with zero memory of the event.
It's like someone hit the pause button on their consciousness for a precise amount of time. It's no wonder this particular aspect has captured the public's imagination and sparked some truly wild theories.
Let's be honest, even the most skeptical folks have to be at least a little curious about this one. What are scientists actually doing to investigate this? It can't be easy studying something that essentially leaves no trace.
It's incredibly challenging, which is why they're taking a multi-pronged approach. First, there are extensive psychological and neurological evaluations of the crew members. They're looking for any subtle changes, shifts in cognitive function, altered perceptions, even changes in brainwave patterns.
So they're searching for any sign that something, anything might be different about these folks after their experience, hoping it'll point to what happened. Are they finding anything at all?
The preliminary reports are intriguing but inconclusive. Some crew members report a heightened sense of awareness or intuition, while others describe a feeling of detachment, like they're observing their own lives from a distance.
Yeah, I can imagine how disorienting that must be, almost like waking up from a dream you can't quite remember.
Oh.
But those subjective experiences aside, is there any hard evidence, anything concrete that points to what might have happened during those missing hours?
That's where things get even more interesting. There's been some very preliminary research into subtle biological markers. One study detected minute variations in the crew members' DNA,
Okay.
specifically in the telomere regions.
Okay, for those of us who haven't brushed up on our genetics lately, remind us what telomeres are and why this might be significant.
Telomeres are essentially caps on the ends of our chromosomes, and they shorten as we age.
Right.
Think of them like the plastic tips on shoelaces that prevent them from fraying.
Yeah.
What's peculiar in these crew members is that their telomeres show signs of both shortening and lengthening.
Oh, wow.
Almost like their biological clocks were disrupted.
So their bodies are showing signs of aging and rejuvenation at the same time.
That's
Wild. Is that even scientifically possible?
It's pushing the boundaries of our understanding for sure. It raises the question, What kind of environment or exposure could cause this kind of temporal distortion at a cellular level?
The article mentions manipulation of time or space, which sounds like something out of a physics textbook, but also maybe a bit like science fiction. Are we really entertaining the idea that these crews might have experienced some kind of time travel or dimensional shift?
While those ideas seem far-fetched, the evidence is forcing us to at least consider them. Some physicists are exploring the concept of chronal displacement, where localized distortions in space-time could accelerate or reverse the flow of time.
So maybe they weren't just unconscious. Maybe they were literally experiencing time differently. It's mind-boggling, but I have to admit, it fits the bizarre nature of everything else we've learned about this megastructure.
It does, and it underscores just how much we still don't know about the universe and the nature of reality itself. This discovery is a wake-up call, a reminder that we're still at the very beginning of our journey of understanding.
And to think it all started with some strange signals from the bottom of the ocean. This has gone from a scientific curiosity to a global phenomenon, sparking debate, fear, and even hope.
It's a testament to the power of the unknown, to both frighten and inspire us. It forces us to confront our limitations, to question our assumptions, and ultimately, to expand our understanding of what's possible.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I keep coming back to that central question. Are we prepared for the implications of this discovery? We've talked about the scientific, geopolitical, and philosophical challenges, but ultimately it comes down to how we choose to respond.
That's where I find a sense of hope. Throughout history, humanity has faced countless challenges, and time and again we found ways to adapt, to innovate, and to learn from our mistakes.
This megastructure is a test, no doubt, but it's also an opportunity to come together as a global community, to prioritize knowledge over fear, and to approach the unknown with a sense of wonder and responsibility.
It's a reminder that our journey of exploration is far from over. There are still countless mysteries waiting to be unraveled, and it's up to us to face them with courage, curiosity, and a commitment to seeking truth, no matter how strange or challenging it may be.
We may not have all the answers today, but one thing's for sure. This deep dive into the Mariana Trench megastructure has left us with more questions than we started with and a renewed sense of awe at the vastness and complexity of the universe we inhabit. Until our next deep dive, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and never stop wondering about what lies beyond the horizon.